Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sri Lanka series here on the Lord Master channel. And this is episode 2, in which, in the first episode, it was mainly about the Sinhalese revolt, also known as Vijayabahu's rebellion, in which we have successfully drove the Chola Empire out of Sri Lanka, also known as Tambapanni as it was called at that time. It was a hard-fought war. Now, when I say hard-fought, I don't mean how our armies defeated the Cholas and their mercenaries and their ally, more successfully. It's not just that, but it was Vijayabahu himself, the man in the middle. His own battles were hard-fought in duels. Though he was involved in 3 battlefield duels. He won 2 of them, and he lost 1, which that loss was his second duel. And he was severely injured for his efforts. And then after quite a medical treatment he had, although eventually he recovered from being severely injured, and then he was scarred. He has the scar trait, which if you look closer to his face you might see some scars, but honestly I think it'll be a little better to get a closer look at him as we will continue as we return to the land of the Buddha. Now, mind you, people, the loading takes time, because of the mods used and a couple of other things. Now, as we said before, we control almost all of Tambapanni except for one area, one province, but I will get that in peacefully. Don't want to start a war. Nobody wants that. As you can see, we have all but one, and that is the Nadu Avani. It's controlled by a Sri Lankan Tamil who is a Buddhist. Now, bearing in mind that term I just said, Sri Lankan Tamil. I mean, Tamils live up there, but they are basically the same as the Tamils up north in Tamil Nadu. Because, that's just terminology that I just had a habit of using ever since I've been learning a lot of Sri Lankan history. But I'll focus on the here and now. In which, again, I could start a war just to force vassalize, but I do not want to do that. And there's a very good reason why not. 1. Offer vassalage. Normally I would have normal feudal obligations. But we can bring them in, but we need to improve relations between each other. Regarding the opinion of both of us. He is trusting, but he is arrogant. But my powerful vassal's opinion. So he would be saying he would not join because, obviously, some of them, particularly my Badakarya and the Rahasadikulava, they don't particularly like me, but I think over time they will get over the whole offensive war opinion. And since there is no war right now, that opinion will slowly decay. I recently brought him in. However, he does make for a better chancellor, as he recently made a small donation to the Mahabodhi. So, let me swap over, even though I would have put my son Vikramabahu in, but that would be nepotism and also not a powerful vassal. Even though you're going to lose a powerful vassal position. Also, one more thing. Is it powerful vassal opinion or powerful vassals? Not necessarily in council, but all powerful vassals. Powerful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why are you even a powerful vassal? You're just a... This is a porter. Can't please everybody, you know? What does it really say about opinion towards you? Yes, opinion of you. So it would be best to improve relations. I tried to negotiate alliance with him, which negotiations were successful, and then a day later, alliance broken because there's absolutely no reason to. So the negotiated alliance doesn't apply here. But do not worry, we will get you in. That's why we're trying to sway you. It may take about a year or so to get him on our side. After all, he's a trusting man who's been behaving rather greedily. And plus, fellow Jetavana patron as I am. So let's not waste any time except try to increase control to this area, as that will be the future capital. But also, since there are provinces with low control, we need bodyguards. Sri Chandra. Excellent. And they need 2 bodyguards. The second is Narendra Sinha, who is good. Although he's a bleeder. But still, he's good. And we need a seneschal for the control growth to get it up faster. Well, there are a few average ones. Well, guess what? I'm doubling your pay. I have 2 jobs. You're a co-physician and seneschal. And plus, we're a bit over the domain limit, and I know which piece of land I'd be willing to give away. Because, look, 1, this is the area that's going to be the capital. These 2 arid areas, we can get it up control a little bit easier. But this area has almost just as low as control as here. But up there, the condition is worse. Development's curtailed over there. The local garrison's been wiped out. And it was recently looted. Wasn't me. You had to... I'll tell you what. It's time to release some prisoners. None of which can be ransomed because we already ransomed those who are willing to pay for. Instead, we are looking for a few talented ones I'd be willing to recruit. And somebody who has traits that is more amenable to us. And it's to represent the Tamils that live up north who are Hindus, so I need a Hindu representative. Somebody who would be a little more submissive to me in the sense of intimidated or someone with compassionate traits. That would be ideal. And male. And healthy. You're the mercenary captain. I guess I can let you off a hook. But knowing where you get your money from when someone pays you to fight, maybe one day I'll use that hook to, you know, to give me some money if I ever have that little thing that's related from wealth focus. So yeah, you can go, Captain. Trusting, honest, stubborn. Once I let you out of house arrest, huh? And a few other things. New intrigue. Okay, we found a man who's likely to be submissive to us, but however, he's never gonna like me because he's angry and he's never gonna get over what I did to him. But the opinion will soon change once I give him that land, so you might be the man for the job, but I'm still looking for other potential candidates, especially those who have traits that makes them more, as I said, that are amenable to me. Nicer. Hey, you got a genetic trait. Again, you're lowborn, but unfortunately not suitable for combat. Why did we make him the seneschal instead of who I just appointed? You know what, bring that man in here. Good. He's Sahala, one of ours. Do not worry, the rest will be released. I'm looking for talented people regarding this skill. But keep in mind, everybody who has house arrest, the skills of diplomacy are lowered. Keep that well in mind. Hey, this man's a renowned silk merchant. A married man too. Bring him in. He should stick around because, you know, renowned silk road merchant. Oh, not just that, he's an Indian Ocean merchant. This character started off as an enterprising trader on the so-called Maritime Silk Road. He might be of some use to me. And yes, I'm willing to, bring your whole family in. Just to be nice. Whoops. We're not done here. Okay, now we got them. After I saw they have those traits. Oh! Unfortunately, she's 44 years old but has Amazonian. Oh! You were the ruler that had this land. Oh. Well, do any of your children inherited mothers? Dwarf? Okay, recruiter. This is not going to be for me. It's going to be for either my half-brother or my son and heir. Once again, not done here. You there. You got any skills of prowess? No. That's the thing that we're going to look for next. Anybody who has high prowess, or with a decent amount of prowess, because we do need some good fighting men to join our army for the defense of Tambapanni in case, you know, they come back again. I don't know about you, but I'm willing to bring you in. As I said, we need good fighting men to replace the low-skilled ones. Doesn't matter what culture or faith that your background is from. Tamils, Sinhalese are all welcome. Once we're done with the recruiting, I'm gonna release everybody else, because I'm a just man. By the way, if I were to execute somebody, again, it's not immediate. I just want to look. Does it increase stress because I'm just? Lose stress. Oh yeah, I forgot there's all these other different means. Doesn't say. But actually loses stress because I'm zealous. Okay, okay. What if it's somebody who's Buddhist? Yes, it does. Okay. I'm just making sure. Now. I know we're spending time with this, but I simply wanted to oh. You're definitely going to be the best of all. But be careful, don't recruit all the damn time. Some are still going to be angry with you, so this is why we're bringing... That's why I hired 2 bodyguards. In case these people have any gumption to, you know, to attempt to assassinate me. And you do not want that man around here. Especially that he is ambitious, dislikes me every way, shape, or form. He's not a rival, but something you gotta be careful for. Inspiring blade master. Okay, you 2 are recruited. Even though you're both Hindus, despite the fact we have the same culture. Yeah, you 2. Again, this may be either a great investment or a big mistake, because we're looking for people who have good skills. And genetic traits, which we found a few. That's the reason why in the previous episode that I said imprison everyone you see, because we'll be recruiting some potential good ones. Okay, we're done here, so let time tick along. Yeah. The family of Gunasekara family. You'll be joining our army here. And this is another army man. This renowned Silk Road merchant. You, however, you're gonna get married immediately. Where's my son and heir? Or is he married? Then I didn't know. 1 second. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, where's Vijayabahu? Unless I missed him. Listen here. No, not fine spouse. Arranged marriage. Yes, I know you'll take the prestige loss. Only the dominant side of the patrol can organize. Plus, it's way expensive, and also both spouses are adults here. Which again, there's a reason why the grand wedding isn't that, but again, potential. You know, your children may potentially have that trait. She's a strong Tamil woman, so be careful with her. You got that? Vijayabahu and Names are slightly... Yeah, he's out of the army now. He's just be a prince. Even though he's killed a man. Yes, he's killed a man before. Well, he's discharged from service because we found men who are better at fighting now. Pregnant my wife again, so I expect to have another child. There you are. You're the man I'm looking for. Goodness, Sakata. You. Okay, you are going to be the one to govern Nagadipa. This increases a bit of a cultural acceptance between us and the Tamil. Plus, his opinion will go up a bit, so he'll be a little less angry towards me. Plus, it's to get rid of that penalty of the domain limit. So now, see to if you could try to heal this little land. Not to mention, you'll be making some fortune while you're over there. And plus, not a powerful vassal. But perhaps in time. As I said, why aren't you the seneschal? You're quite talented yourself. Since we just increased the cultural acceptance, will you join us? No. Let's see. Seneschal is average, but yeah. Sorry for this little misunderstanding, Precision, but we found someone better, even though that makes very little difference, but I just wanted somebody. It'll cost me a bit of prestige, that's fine. And now the rest of them will be released. Mass release. Get everybody out of here. Now, finally, let me explain here, as we just took time with the business. Why am I not starting a war to grab Vani? Reasons. Because I would rather go to the route of accumulation rather than purification. You see, attack someone in the war and defend against an attacker in the war, which affects both of us. And this is going to lead more towards purification. So I'm trying to do these matters peacefully. And plus, once done it, then we'll make our move and we will finally begin the true healing of this broken land. What happened? Oh, he died in an accident after I got him out of prison. I didn't do it. Something must have happened on his travels. Even though they're all wandering the countryside, so they could be going anywhere at this point. Sometimes back to their old homes, or just... Yeah, they're all wandering at this point. They just go wherever at this point. Most likely towards courts where either the fellow vassals here, or they come back here as guests, or, well, mostly for the Tamil culture, they'll go to Chola. So who knows? Oh, and also I never discussed one of the things we didn't have time for in the previous episode. Our culture. Oh, 1 second. My friend, Radladu Budal of Majorama came to me today quite despondent of his financial prospects for the near and longer term. As things go, he's facing bankruptcy and is asking for my help in directly paying his creditors. Now, the great thing about Buddha is his deep religious connections, and that I should decide to help him will make my piety shine brightly as discreet words about my disciples' contribution will be spread. Get a weak hook on him. Or just say, sorry, can't help you, and spend less. Now listen, the money is going to be going to the reconstruction of northern Tambapanni. And plus, I'm not going to do any spending until I reach the capital. So sorry, normally a zealous man like myself would do that, but I have plans. We've got to increase the prominence. Zero, but not there yet. A wounded, disillusioned mercenary group has arrived at the Rata of Anuradhapura. The locals claim to overheard talk of settling down after pillaging an easy target, and have begun to grow anxious. Tensions are high, and conflict is likely to arise if I do not intervene in the matter. Oh, hell. Alright, we'll force them out of the city. I'll organize a preemptive strike, using the local garrison in a surprise attack to push the Vandals out. 0% chance that the mercenaries will slaughter the soldiers, and 100% chance that the soldiers subdue the mercenaries, which I will gain 25 gold, 75 prestige, and for Anuradhapura, local garrison using elite tactics. So the troops belonging to the local garrison are expert peacekeepers with the experience necessary to perform proper crackdowns on lawbreakers. That will help with the holding taxes gain, faster control growth, and a bit of popular opinion up. So that'll show how we police things around here. Plus, Anuradhapura, the once proud jewel of Tambapanni, and a center of trade, religion, and learning. Anuradhapura was sacked during the Chola invasions of the late 900s and early 1000s CE. Excuse me. What's the century? Following its economic, political, and cultural decline, it is a hollow shell of its former self, which has a reduced fort level, and also building construction and time and cost has also increased, so is the holding taxes decreased. Another person just died in an accident. She was 23. Now, my husband of Gandhi, Ravideva, has worked hard to convince our neighboring realms and vassals that the peace treaty I've entered with Iraya of Chola is flawed, illegitimate, and unfair to me. Once again, I'm free to declare war upon him as I please. Incredible work. So we just ended that truce thanks to the effectiveness of our Chancellor. So this is also the site of the ruins of Anuradhapura. It was once the shining capital of Tambapanni and a center of Buddhist learning and maritime trade. However, in the wake of invasions of political upheavals, it lost its prominence and much of the city is abandoned. The remaining inhabitants live in smiling ruins that reminded one of the city's former glory days. As the door to Burning Chair opens, I'm not greeted by the smiling midwives and the crying baby. Instead, Master Lilavati's heart-wrenching wails. I'm so sorry, my lord. The midwife does not look at me in the eye. Her arms is a tiny covered bundle. Your son, he's in Nirvana now. My son? In Nirvana? He was stillborn. Oh, I'm sorry. Very sorry. Which again, the ruins causes the levy size and the garrison size there to be reduced. Lowered development, growth, and control. But whoever's the owner, which is me, +1 learning, and a little bit of renown gain. It cannot be restored. Hey, where are you going? I saw him traveling. Now it's no longer -0, it's +0. But in a few months' time, we'll get him on our side and we will unite the land peacefully. Even though the majority of them was done by warfare and rebellion, but the last portion will be done with peace. While in a formal meeting with my Protestant Kulava, spy master, Vadaladu Kasapa told me one of his words regarding Digasumana. Another man died in an accident. Due to his poor opinion about myself, it takes to his personality traits. Kasapa fears that my life's at risk and no bodyguard could protect me from a threat inside my own court. As things stand, he advises me to sway, dismiss, or get rid of him in order to increase my future security. In a knowledge of the threat that's just theoretical. Spy masters pointed to see and prepare for dangers at every corner, but my life could possibly be on the line if I decide what I will do. Thank you for your warning. Glad you're on our side a little. But just wait until the offensive war opinion keeps going down and down. Wasn't able to sway him somehow. And I'm not giving him any of my money. No, that's going for all of this. Remain patient. He will look at me highly. I will be willing to bring him in with... Okay, you can actually do that now. So, he will become my vassal. And the contract starts with low taxes, low levy contribution, unfortunately. Which, the land that he owns, there's hunter lodges, there's hamlets. It's good, valuable land. So, finally, after a year of negotiations and talking and all that, a year after the end of the war, I accept your gracious offer of vassalization, my liege. But of course, you probably want to be on the council. And you'll get it. Because you're not a powerful vassal anymore. You and I are going to get together very well. So now we gotta sway somebody else. Sway the spy master. And once I get done swaying, I'm gonna start learning Tamil. That would be wise. And now, a year after the war, it's time to move the capital to Paranava, even though in actuality it's gonna go to here. Anuradhapura. The old capital of Tambapanni lies in ruins. Years of warfare and political instability have taken their toll. Now, with the island's reunification, we cannot dwell on the rubble of bygone glories. Paranava, that's the Pura it's pointing at, would make a much better defensible capital. The holding of Paranava would instantly gain to the University if no other special building is there. Choose whether to rename the capital Vijayabahu, and also Nirata Paranava, which is here actually. This will become the new realm capital. I will gain the nickname The Great. Now over there in Nirata, the development level will change by +5, the control level will change by +20, and we'll gain Kingdom of Paranava for 100 years. And right there, we'll gain the building University. Now for historical context, while archaeological evidence suggests the 11th century Chola conquest of Sri Lanka didn't cause as much massive destruction to the island's old capital of Anuradhapura as Buddhist monastic histories claim, it is clear that the city declined greatly following the invasions. The Cholas established Paranava as the political, economic, and religious center of the island. After Vijayabahu expelled the Cholas from Sri Lanka, he established a more defensible Paranava as its capital rather than return to Anuradhapura. Prepare for the great move. That'll be 50 gold. I'm now known as the Great. Your achievements are legendary. Commodores sing song to your deeds, and the nobility grumble about unfair expectations. It is hard to imagine how, as a mere child years ago, I had to endure many hardships in the wilderness of Tambapanni as I've evaded the fearsome Chola armies. Now I have achieved my lifelong goal of overthrowing off the Chola's yoke, pacifying the local warlords and establishing a new kingdom on this island. Alas, the old capital of Anuradhapura is mostly in ruins. While some wish for me to restore it to its former glory, it is no longer the magnificent city it once was. Even if it was, I fear future attacks from our foes in southern India, or from rebellious local warlords. I need a capital I can defend. Polonnaruwa thus will make a much better capital. The Cholas developed to be the island's new economic, cultural, and political center, and it is more defensible. From now on, our future lies with Polonnaruwa. This is for big party gain or big prestige gain. But historically, they did rename the city, so let's do that. A new capital deserves a new name. Vijayabahu. So what happened now is this holding has been renamed Vijayabahu, but however it should be noted that the city just got renamed down here. That's Vijayabahu. And yet here is that's the name of the castle holding. And this is Vijayabahu. Obviously it gets pretty confusing. And also it's a little more confusing that, you see this part here? That's Trincomalee, which is the Romanization spelling of this. Romanization, Anglicization, whatever the word is. So obviously it's a little confusing, and it did. So now, following the destruction of Anuradhapura, the old capital of Tambapanni, and at the end of the Chola invasion, the island's rulers decided to move the capital to a new and more defensible location, Polonnaruwa. It now serves as the island's center of trade, religion, and learning, just like how Anuradhapura once did. So, 4 levels up, so is the garrison size. The building construction cost is now cheaper, holding taxes up, and so is the developmental growth. So, there you go. That makes me smile a little. And what's even more better, and this is relevant to the new DLC, University. The university is a place of higher learning, reserved those of good standing and wealth who are deemed worthy enough. It attracts scholars and scientists who debate, study, scribe, and ultimately pool their knowledge within its walls. So this reduced the cost of hosting grand tournament board games and recital contests by half, minus 50%. Increased quality of sponsored book inspirations, and enables a send to university education option for rulers within the same realm. So now I have my own university and I don't have to travel to somewhere else to go learn something. Plus, in this county, developmental growth up, and for the holder of this holding, learning per level of fame goes up, so is renown, monthly lifestyle experience, and cultural fascination progress up as well. So I'm particularly pleased with this. Right. Before we continue on here, I was supposed to bring up the Sihala culture, like who we are exactly. Well, our ethos is spiritual, which means, yes, this is another playthrough that I've been doing for this series that involves another culture with spiritual as ethos. So that's just like with the Iranian series, when I played as initially Levantine Arab, then switched to Syriac, which they have that too. But here's the traditions of what makes them quite stand out. Religious patronage. For the salvation of the soul, one must commit to works of religious significance. You cannot purchase redemption, but having a temple of priests sing your praises helps. Gaining significant extra piety from constructing temple holdings, and gain renown when constructing and upgrading temple holdings, which there's a reason why I decided to play with the More Provinces Expanded mod. So you get all this patches of empty land throughout, Lanka. That's why we wanted to make the island nation feel a little bigger on the inside for the purpose of this series, since this area is the focus of it. And plus, if I have a lot of money, which I do, I would like to build temples so that way I gain 100 renown, but Money's going elsewhere. That's far more important. Before we get into that, let's continue. Stalwart defenders. Defending which one's zone is paramount importance to this culture. Which defensive war peace acceptance plus 10, meaning if you get the war score up to 90%, then that's when you're allowed to call the end of the war. And you'll gain more prestige and gold from winning defensive wars plus 100%. And all Sihala characters have the defender advantage plus 10. And the garrison size is also increased 25%. Which, interestingly, both religious patronage and stalwart defenders traditions, there's another culture that has those two that makes it a bit similar to Sihala. And that's the Serbian culture. They have those two as well. But the only difference being is their communal ethos. And they also have Coney raids, which is uniquely Eastern European, and staunch traditionalists, which they don't particularly, it costs way more prestige to try to convert the local culture, and it's much harder to hybridize with the said culture. Though they do have more controlled territory defender advantage, stack that with stalwart defenders. And that makes, fighting against Serbian culture a little, hard to come by. And they take less for the vital casualties as well. If only we were to take the Serbian example for this single island culture. But this is what makes them different from them. One of the other ones is maritime mercantilism. The world may be ruled by armies, but this culture knows that it is truly controlled by whoever dominates the flow of gold across the seas, which the trade port line of buildings can be constructed one era early. Coastal holdings in counties of this culture provide an additional plus 10% tax. And all the characters have reduced sea danger and republic vassal, mayors particularly, plus 10 increase of opinion. And here's one unique to this culture, the VIET systems. This culture, which has its origins or influence from Sri Lanka, has refined the techniques used to create irrigation tanks throughout the Indian subcontinent. In Sri Lanka, these tanks, known as VIETs, are constructed in large numbers, of a high level of engineering and administrative sophistication. So, reduce costs for the decision to construct irrigation tanks, which we'll do that in a bit. Also reduced construction costs for temples, buildings, and development growth in hills, jungles, and forests. Even though we're doing it in the open plains of the Vani. And if we go back to late antiquity, there's some innovations that were added. Okay, but this is from culture is expanded mod. That's added here. Hindu numeral system. The Hindu numeral system is a position decimal numeral system, and is the most common system for symbolic representation of numbers in the world. It was invented between the 1st and 4th centuries by Indian mathematicians. The system is based on 10, originally 9, glyphs. These symbols, glyphs, used to represent the system are in principle independent system itself. The glyphs in actual use are descended from Brahmi numerals and have split into various typographical variants since the Middle Ages. So, holding tax up a bit as well as development growth. Now, irrigation tanks. Again, throughout the Indian subcontinent, certain types of large wells and artificial reservoirs are constructed to take advantage of the local topography in order to harvest and preserve rainwater. These tanks can be used for agriculture, drinking, bathing, and religious rituals. It's very similar to qanats, which you find those over in the Middle East and North Africa areas, and to the degree Central Asia. And now, unique to here, the Valakara gods. The Valakara are guilds of soldiers in southern India, while often of Tamil origin, are affiliated with a variety of castes and communities, organize themselves on a corporate basis. They regulate their own affairs through large assemblies. Their effectiveness as soldiers led to some royals and nobles employing entire regiments of them as royal guards, protectors of sacred sites. So this gives us the Valakar men-at-arms. Mercenary higher costs reduced, a little bit more defender advantage, but reduced control growth. So you could say it's like we talked about the differences between Sinhalese and Serbian cultures, the differences, especially with defender advantage. Well, here's this one little innovation that gives a little bit more advantage to us. So, there you have it. So now, we moved our capital here. Now, it's time to spend some money that would help us out. But first things first, reinforce relations with the Silk Road communities. The Silk Road is a home to many different ethnic communities. It will be wise to reach out to the leaders of elites of such communities in my territories, so we may mutually assist each other. We'll receive the character modifier for 10 years, the bonuses of which will depend on which community you pick. The community you choose might support you in the long term through random events and by unlocking new decisions for you to pick. Which again, for historical context, for any of you new viewers that have not seen my past series, I'll read them to you again. The lands of the so-called Silk Roads have been home to a blend of many ethnicities, religions, and cultures, then and now. In various urban centers, diverse communities of different origins have often played major roles in local affairs despite their foreign origin. For example, the Chinese-dominated city of Donghuang had a significant Sogdian minority. Some arose to high rank. It was also home to many other ethnicities like Tibetans, Jews, and Tokharians, which you have to only count in either the Overland Silk Road or the Maritime Silk Road. Which, let me show you the outline here. The Overland Silk Road does cover India as well, and Sri Lanka as well. It'll go as far west as Haran, and so that's how far west it'll go. Although in future flavor packs, they said that one day they'll announce that they'll expand the Overland Silk Road further west to the Pontic Steppe one day. If there's ever going to be a future flavor pack in any of those areas. The Maritime Silk Road, this is the lowered outline, which does cover Sri Lanka. This is Overland, does cover Sri Lanka. Maritime, same here. Yeah. So we'll choose a community to network with. And since the Sri Lanka flavor pack update, they added 2 new ones. East African, a diverse group from faraway shores, and Southeast Asian, sailors who have mastered the Indian Ocean. Because for East Asia, this would give you diplomacy, steppe, martial, Middle Eastern, stewardship, Himalayan, intrigue, Indian, learning. That's what it was originally. But now for East African, it gives you prowess. And Southeast Asian gives you prestige and faster travel speed, but the safety will safer increased. But since our focus is to get control up as possible and increase the tax, it would be wise to go for the Middle Eastern. Iranian, Arab, and Jewish merchants of travels have been renowned for their acumen and worldliness for centuries. With their wealth and connections, and our status and power, could achieve great things together. It is time to improve the contacts with the Middle Eastern communities. So, this would increase the amount of chances of receiving gifts of character modifiers and improve gold income, or building costs and control in the realm, and unlocks the decision to bring in Middle Eastern merchant settlers. Although historically in Sri Lanka there were Arab, Persian, trading colonies that resided there. And in earlier times, Greeks and Romans. So let's do some networking. Took a drink. The lands and seas of the so-called Silk Road have been a vibrant melting pot of different peoples for generations, even perhaps before the rise of the great empires of Han, Rome, or Persia. Thanks to these extensive networks, there are flourishing communities with origins from across Eurasia, even in my realm. Cooperating with them may be helpful if I am to achieve my ambitions. In particular, I decided to reinforce the relation of the Middle Eastern communities in my realm. The merchant networks of Iranian, Arabian, and Jewish origin can be found across the Silk Road. Wherever trade may flow, anyone who seeks to encourage commerce and development will look for their aid. If we do good business with them, we can all surely prosper and grow. This is for 10 years. As we go down here, let's bring in the merchant settlers. Now that I've been networking with the local Middle Eastern communities in my realm, I'm interested in whether they'd be willing to help me attract some of their compatriots, particularly merchants, to settle in my realm and continue to expand the existing commercial networks so that we may all prosper and grow. 100 prestige, and here in Vijayabahu, this reduces the building construction cost more, as well as piety and prestige, and holding taxes and development up again, further up. Trade and commerce will flourish. No matter their ethnic or religious origin, merchants from the Middle East can be found throughout much of the Silk Road, ranging from Arabs to Iranians and Jews and more. They have been especially prolific in establishing colonies in their major trade centers and crossroads in order to broaden their business networks. I have managed to convince some members of the local Middle East community to assist me in recruiting people from their homelands or from elsewhere along the Silk Road networks to come and settle in my lands. They get to expand their networks while also helping me to bring even more prosperity to my lands. I eagerly welcome the colonists. It's a win-win. Every little bit helps. Hopefully we get lucky that we'll get an event that will help us increase control. Again, I'm an ambitious man, and I'm willing to spend a lot of money to improve the realm, as well as increase the prominence of the monastery that I'm patronizing, and to go towards more of the accumulation. And I know what to do exactly. First, build a local Buddhist religious site. As a Theravadan who wishes to accommodate for himself a great merit, I wish to donate funds to construct a new Buddhist religious site. In doing so, I can honor the Buddha, spread the Dharma, and strengthen the Sangha. So I will choose whether the donation will go towards a stupa, temple, or monastery, which will net me different boons of piety, prestige, and renown, and match the character modifier as well as the accounting modifier for my realm capital. And now we'll decide how large the religious site will be, which will determine how strong the boons are and how large the donation will be needed. Minimum cost is 100. The prominence of Sri Lanka's monastery will increase, particularly any you patronize, depending on the type of site. The context. Ever since Buddhism was founded, elites have often patronized the construction of religious sites or maintenance of existing ones as a way to accumulate great spiritual merit. For the three jewels. Ever since the days when the Lord Buddha walked the earth, Buddhists of all kinds, from the humblest commoners to the mightiest emperors, have funded construction of various religious sites to pay homage to the Buddha, propagate the Dharma, and inspire the Sangha. I will do likewise, as it is my duty to set an example as a leader. Not to mention I can accumulate great merit for myself in doing so. As the first order of business, I should decide what kind of site to construct in the first place. It would be wise to get the piety up, as I haven't been doing that as of late. So, more prestige than piety, more piety than prestige, equal amounts. So, a monastery can provide monastics a home where they can study the Dharma. So we shall build a monastery. Buddhist monasteries are necessary if we are to develop the intellectual and spiritual capabilities of our bhikkhus. In such a location, they can study and expound on the Dharma and serve the lay community's spiritual needs. We have found an excellent location for a new monastery. Soon, This place will be filled with the chanting and recitation of prayers. Additionally, as I gather resources and people to assist me with this endeavor, I need a clear plan on what to do. For example, I discussed with local bhikkhus whether the structure will be added to an existing religious complex or to stand on its own somewhere else. I will also need to choose how large this building will be. Once that decided, construction can start. Small. And look, increases prominence. More so when you increase it. And mind you, it helps all, but since I'm the patron of it, a bit more. Medium. Large. So, the construction of the sacred site will be complete in a year or two, and I will get this much boons. This will definitely help with the development even more. And this will benefit all the monasteries. It shall be large. Now, step 2. We mentioned irrigation tanks. Centuries ago, the people of India mastered the art of building reservoirs and other connected water systems to harvest and preserve rainwater. Such irrigation tanks are often associated with local religious institutions, and sponsoring the construction of some would reflect well on me. Another county modifier the last 10 years. Gained some prestige and piety for this. Strength for these depending on how much funding. I have a tradition that reduces the cost, and this will add prominence to the monastery that I'm a patron of. Which, once again, for context, irrigation tanks are artificial reservoirs ranging in size that were historically built in much of Sri Lanka and India. They often consist of multiple tanks, channels, and earthen embankments. They were engineered to harvest and preserve rainwater. Some were projects by local communities. Others were sponsored by religious organizations, nobles, and kings. The famous stepwells of Western India and the wells of Sri Lanka are examples of hydraulic systems connected to the irrigation tank technology. Prepare for some construction. The irrigation tanks are carefully engineered systems of artificial reservoirs of India that have provided a reliable source of water for centuries. I wish to work with local religious institutions and other prominent members of the community to build one such irrigation tank. It will provide the needs of the locals, including agriculture, bathing, religious rituals, and more. The irrigation tank will, of course, also be adorned with artwork glorifying Siddhartha and the sponsors, including myself. Now, how big this irrigation tank should be? This is going to add the prominence of me being a patron of it, and the prominence of it will increase by 5. Of course, we'll go all the way. This adds to the accumulation phase. Now let's support Sri Lankan Sangha. Tambapanni may be a home to several powerful Buddhist monasteries, but we have thrown our lot behind the Jetavana, so it would be wise for us to support this sect so that it remains influential within the Sangha. I will choose how to support the monasteries in Sri Lanka and gain various boons. In particular, this will increase the prominence of the monastery and patronize. I've already read the historical context of this on a previous episode, if you can watch that. When I decided to align with Jetavana. Again, starting to go that way now. There's one that's blocked out because it has to be in a capital outside of Sri Lanka. But since all the counties I control have lowered control, this one helps. So we'll go for Parivena schools. This will increase the trade experience of my monastery trait. When my patronized monastery gains prominence more, I will gain 900 lifestyle experience. May this bring me great merit. As a patron of the Jetavana monastery, I must work together with them to further the cause of Buddhism in Tambapanni and elevate the land's Sangha. The Jetavana, like all the great monasteries of Tambapanni, maintains a network of parivanas, or schools. These networks of parivanas will play a major role in reinforcing Jetavana influence in designs, and I decided to expand that influence further by building another parivana. In the name of the three jewels, up to 80 now. Almost there till we get to serve the crown, and we'll get to control up much faster. It's 50 now. 52 for you, 53 for you. Don't purify nor pray to the guardian deities. That leads to purification. That goes to the purification route. Anything else I could do? Large Buddhist religious sites on the way. Give out Buddhist land grants. Someone did a major almsgiving ceremony in the Sangha. Good. Construct a building as shareholder. Again, we saw the prominence earlier, which again I'm showing it to you. It's 97, it's 150, and 80. There is one more that I'm willing to spend big on. Donate to the Mahabodhi. As a powerful Theravada Agarada, it is my duty to protect and aid the Buddhist Sangha or community in any way I can. As such, I wish to donate to the Mahabodhi complex at Bodh Gaya, the holiest site in Buddhism, to support the monastics and pilgrims there. Choose how much to donate. As I'm king tier, and Gaya, over there, currently does not have a grand royal donation counting modifier, and I have the option to pay 300 gold to sponsor a massive construction and repair project at the Mahabodhi, something far beyond the ordinary. This can only be done once in a lifetime. In context, in the ancient and medieval eras, the Mahabodhi was supported and expanded thanks to donations from Buddhist laity and clergy from across the Buddhist world. These range from offerings of food to the stupas, to building repairs, to the construction of new facilities. For example, in the 11th and 13th, 14th centuries, Burmese kings funded major reconstruction efforts of the temple complex. For the three jewels, I am preparing to give the Mahabodhi temple complex in Gaya a substantial donation. As the so-called Nevo, the earth where the Lord Buddha attained enlightenment centuries ago. It is important it survives as a center of worship and pilgrimage for the Sangha. There are a number of things my donation to the Mahabodhi could go towards. I could provide funds to support the monastics who live there and maintain the place. Or, if I'm feeling more generous, I could even send funds to do miscellaneous repairs to existing buildings or construct small structures. No, it shall be. Oh yeah, by the way, the large does give you renown, but massive donation, 100 renown. That's why I want all that piety gain. Grand donation to the Mahabodhi for the next 20 years. Ups diplomacy, ups the piety gain, and renown gain as well. And over in Gaya, over there, this would help them with whatever they need. I'll give a massive donation. Take a drink. News is traveling across the Buddhist world about the devout Agarada Vijayabahu. who recently donated a significant amount of resources and funding to the Mao Road Temple complex. This donation will be used to build, rebuild, and repair structures and facilities there. Any leftover money will be spent on supporting the site's continued operations. The Mao Bodhi is known to many Buddhists as the navel of the earth, and the place where the Lord Buddha attained enlightenment many centuries ago. As such, it continues to serve as the most important center of worship and pilgrimage for the Buddhist Sangha. An endeavor like this only comes around once in a generation, so Buddhist Sarah will surely rejoice, and Vijayabahu can rest assured that he will be remembered by fellow Buddhists as a noble and righteous monarch, alongside distinguished rulers like Emperor Ashoka. Splendid. Now we unlock the dynasty legacy. Because of the relevance of the location of Sri Lanka, as it is the center of the maritime Silk Road, we'll go all the way with maritime trade here. Eastern patricians. Republican vassal tax, mayors. They will give me a little bit more. The decision to invest in Socotra trade goods can be taken more in one's lifetime. If you have Socotra Island, that is, which I don't. And also increased chances of getting a deal event, and thus gold, when using the Silk Road Merchant's travel option. I should do some traveling, now that you reminded me. And that's for starters. And I mentioned a pilgrimage, so we'll finally get time moving along, because I will go on a pilgrimage. I'll not do the relic veneration just yet. Instead, we're going to go on to a pilgrimage to Sri Pada. Sri Pada is one of the holiest peaks in Tambapanni, venerated by people on many different creeds. It is most famed for a footprint-shaped mark at its summit. Which religious figure made this footprint depends on the faith of who you ask. More piety gain, please. I do have a little bit of stress. So if you're Abrahamic, you get this. Buddhist, piety. Hindu, stewardship. Other Eastern, such as Jains or Taoists, learning. And non-Eastern, basically everybody else. So for context, Sri Pada for Buddhists and Hindus, or Adam's Peak for Christians and Muslims, is a noble sacred mountain in central Sri Lanka, most notable for the footprint-shaped mark on its summit. Buddhists say it was made by the Buddha, and that he preached here at one point. Hindus believe that the footprint was made by Shiva, while Christians and Muslims believe it was made by Adam. Regardless, the mountain has been a pilgrimage site for centuries. It was mentioned by famous travelers like Fashion, Marco Polo, and Ibn Battuta, the latter of whom climbed it. Let's plan on that. Control growth. As much as I'm a zealous man, but for once, go on a religious observance, so that way I will gain engaged with local religious practices, upskill learning a bit, but faster control growth in popular opinion. By honoring the samsara according to local customs, I can show my subjects that I understand them and their way of life. Sripada's down here. There's some danger here. Lose extra stress if I'm zealous or calm. Role model, that's more prestige. Which I'm about to become illustrious, so I might do that. Or gain experience in my lifestyle. Curiosity. Don't spend any additional money. This is going to be 90 gold for this travel. So let's begin. So, yes, to Sri Pada. Today, I start my journey to Sri Pada. It will be an arduous journey, traveling through miles and miles of wilderness, not to mention the actual mountain itself, which will be quite difficult to climb. However, it will be well worth it. Sri Pada is the holiest mountain in Tambapanni. In fact, it is so holy that people of all religions, not just Theravadins, go on pilgrimage there. The site's main attraction is a large footprint at the summit, which is said to have been made by the Buddha, according to Theravada bhikkhus. Visiting it should surely be a great way to show my devotion to Siddhartha. It's time to make my way to the mountain. I've done a lot the past day. Now it's time for me to go because I need to get out of this court life. Just for a little bit. As soon as I just left, then there's my friend. I've arrived at Tirukamai, or Vijayabahura, to pay homage to you, glorious Sagarada, and show my loyalty. I'll bring you rich gifts, wherever your majesty, as a token of my goodwill and servitude. Show them at once. I wait patiently on my throne for the arrival of Buddha, who will soon announce an usher before me. He kneels in deference as the tenants bring forth his gifts of precious coin and precious objects. The oath is taken, and Scar's record his pledges, and serve the Vijayabahu Agar Rajya. At last I bid Rat blood to arise, confirm my satisfaction. I withdraw his rights to the land as he rules in my stead. I accept your generous gifts, Ratu Ladu Buddha. Thank you. Now I must leave. As the Rata of Vijayarajapura increases development, there are several additional needs in terms of infrastructure for the county to achieve its full potential. Roads, bridges, aqueducts, public sewers, basic healthcare facilities, and much more in demand across the county in order for it to continue to grow. Unfortunately, all these facilities cost gold, and I'm the one who is required to foot the bill. It is good for the realm. Sustained development. There goes 100. One second. I visit the Ratnapura mining pits. Who are these guests? Mainly my courtiers. My wife is here. Half brother, half sister, daughter. Rajpurohit. Physician, seneschal. Gang's all here. At last, I have reached Sri Pada. The mountain itself towers high above me at a distance, surrounded by a seemingly endless canopy of greenish trees. It looks daunting, yet I have already walked all the way here. There is no turning back. From now on, however, I and my entourage will need to recoup our energy. The way upwards will be difficult, so we'll need to have well-rested bodies and minds if we are to make our way to the peak. We make our way through the crowds of fellow pilgrims, some fellow Theravadins, others followers of other creeds, as we prepare to rest for the night. It is remarkable how people of all faiths venerate this mountain, and even more remarkable is that they maintain relative peace with each other. See that mountain? I will climb it. Historical context. The depiction of the pilgrimage in this activity is based on the detailed account of Ibn Battuta, a famed 14th century Moroccan Muslim explorer who traveled to the lands as far away as Mali, China, Spain, and of course Sri Lanka. Ibn Battuta made the journey to Sri Lanka in 1344 CE. He was warmly welcomed by the king of Jaffna, Batena Singularlian, who graciously supported his travels on the island. When Ibn Battuta went on a pilgrimage to Sri Pada himself, the king provided him a palanquin carried by the king's own slaves, and in the explorer's entourage were several Hindu Brahmins. Anyways, as Sri Pada is still a major pilgrimage site nowadays, the depiction of this activity and event chain likely differs from the present-day conditions due to the changes that happened to the site, as well as people who traveled there over the centuries. Begin our climb. Up the mount. We've started our trek up Sri Pada. There are two main routes going to the main peak. One, some call the Mama Track, a relative easy, gentle walk, so anyone who climbs up the mountain this way is not considered a true pilgrim. The other route, called the Baba Track, is much harder, and it is the route we are currently on. Along the route, there are a number of chains going up the stairs to help pilgrims up the steps. I am not even partway through, and I already feel exhausted. It's a struggle, but I'll push through this. Listen, I've been injured in a war to reclaim this beautiful land, this paradise of an island. I've gone through worse, so I'll push through this. Not related. The wise man. Agabodi, a man both wholesome and wise, greets me graciously. I have heard of your new university. Agorada, that favors knowledge to that extent. I would be honored to serve you. Hoo. Wise man, mastermind philosopher, high learning, and loyal. Welcome. At the summit. At last, I have reached the peak of Sri Pada, and what a magnificent view. Against the pure blue sky, one mostly sees pure white clouds surrounding the mountain when gazing downwards. Interspersed with the evergreen canopy of trees, all of which obscures the base. But I'm not here to admire the scenery. I hurry my way across the summit, where most of the other pilgrims congregate. A footprint spanning a miraculously large length on a lofty black rock. At last, before my eyes, it is the very footprint that the Buddha made so long ago. We will spend a few days in prayer before we return. But before we do so, it is customary for Theravadins like myself to donate some gold and precious items to leave in the 9 holes carved into the foot as an offering. I will donate a great amount, as I am a zealous man. Personally, donate a great amount for greater merit. Before I pick up that perk, now, we're to leave. After spending days in prayer, we make our way down the Mama Track of Sri Pada. This route may have been easier than the way going up. It's still a strenuous task downwards, and by the time we reach the bottom of the mountain, I and my entourage are exhausted. As we catch our breath, I make note of the famous ancient tree at the base of the mountain. People say this tree is a supernatural quality, for its leaves never fall, and some hermits even claim eating the leaves will regain their youth. Regardless of the truth of the matter, it is a beautiful tree, one clearly old and wise, and a wonderful sight to end our trip on. See that mountain? I did climb it! I'm a pilgrim now. Lose the stress. Hostile scheme resistance up. Since I made that pilgrimage. Every participant, 50 piety. And every participant receives that beneficial modifier, which depends on the faith and religion. Which again, all these characters here, they're all Theravadins. We didn't see any Hindu or Christian or Muslim here. I don't think there's any, but we done did it. Ah, pilgrimage to Paulus Continent. The mountain's famous footprint, and its famous footprint was inspiring. No wonder people of so many different faiths visited. Now we have about 22 days to get home. Now to serve the crown. This won't increase my natural dread, so people will fear me a little bit, and increase the speed of the control growth, which now it takes 2.1 per month. And that pilgrimage further helps it. This is a capital for increased learning and lifestyle experience. At long last, I'm finally home. There's nothing better than arriving back at Vijayabahu after a long journey. I look forward to resting for some time, but the call of the road beckons ever onward. My entourage reports that we journeyed for 87 days and traversed 9 baronies. Thanks to that, I could go inside again. For now. I'm reminded of something. The culture. Since I've used that reinforced relation to Silk Road, I think it would be wise to... Well, there is also other unique things. And these stepwell builders that's mentioned before, which only one culture has that, and that's the Gujarati culture. I will do the same thing like I did in the previous series. Adopt people to the Silk Road. The city holdings give more taxes, development, and levies. The Silk Road track of dynasty legacies can be unlocked no matter your geographical location. The decision to reinforce relations to Silk Road communities can be taken more than once in a lifetime, and unlocks the character action to present skilled Silk Road entertainers to other rulers, and unlocks the decision to synthesize the West Asia for cultures that are not of Chinese heritage, even or quite far away from it. This would increase our diplomatic range, culture and faith opinion, as well as speed and safety. We'll get it in 9 years' time. We're doing that because this is to simulate the fact that we are part of in the middle of the maritime Silk Road. So we're trying to be quite different than those of the Sogdians and the Khotanese, which in the 1066 start date, remnants of them still exist. They're the other peoples of the Silk Road. Takarians don't exist anymore, assimilated by the Uyghurs. And the Khotanese, they too would also be assimilated, as they did historically. It's just that this time they're kind of slowly fading. But Buddhism is still present there, the Mahayana type. It's what had actually happened historically. And as for the Sogdians, most of them did assimilate to the Tajik culture, but there are actual remnants of Sogdians that still live in this area. They just go by a different name now, Yagnobi. Now here, we're using the people of the Silk Road to basically roleplay the means of being people that we have maritime mercantilism, center of the maritime Silk Road, and all that. Ah, yes, the court. We have no artifacts, and lowest level, so we need to change a few things here. First, as much as it's nice to have scholarly court, but we need to behave more of an administrative court, because level 1, further reduction of building time and cost, should the day come that we start building buildings around here. plus increase the level. So the new cost will be 4 a month. Even though the monthly income, this would not do much. So we won't make as much income as we used to. But every little bit helps. As long as we have this. And I know some of you might be concerned about saying, you are overspending and you're not going to make as much money as you used to unless you get the rest of the other counties back up control, so that way you can get the taxes up in a bit. Then where are you going to get your money from? In a big way. Oh, I know how. No, not that. Grand tour. Host a magnificent tour and pay a visit to all my vassals in their lands. Each stop will have 2 months duration. Yes, Vijayabahu is traveling again. He's made his pilgrimage, and now he's going to meet with all his vassals. Look at the average cost. I can reduce that. Not to worry. In the previous series of Haran, for those who remembered, I often take the Majesty Tour, which is just to earn prestige and vassal opinion. This time, we're doing Taxation Tour, which some events will allow avaricious actions. Taking these earns gold both when departing from a stop at the end of my tour. So this grand tour is an opportunity to remind my vassals that I'm owed tax and obligation, and to root out all tax avoidance within my realm. Because I have been overspending, I can admit, but we do need a lot of good gold still maintained in case more events pop up that requires a large amount of spending. So we will go to here, meet Ravideva, and then we'll go to Mayramada. Actually, hold on. Where's oh, he's traveling. Okay, he was traveling too, and what's your purpose of your travel? Because I'm not starting this grand tour until he's present. Whatever he's doing. The Blade of Sarastra. I have seen heathens fight, and I know with what viciousness they strike down the faithful. Ereneo Tatarastra, I will stand against them with the courage he grants me. I will not rest till I have laid waste to the enemies of the Samsara. He's a holy warrior, burning with righteous fervor. Vijayabahu will not rest until all heathens are defeated. No offense to the Hindus, please. What was his visit over there about? Oh, major veneration of the Buddha's tooth. He did this act. Ah, and Anuradhapura is where the Buddha's tooth resides. So what he just did affected the prominence. Look here. Probably did. Engage in relic veneration. Accumulations in lead. Good. That's what I would want to see. Right, now let's do the grand tour. Taxation tour. This is what we're gonna do. Ravideva, Buddha, and then Karnataka, and then this man, and then there. So, I'm gonna host dinner here. Host a dinner with my friend here. There's no need to tour the grounds for control. No need to have dinner. We already have good relations. Instead, cultural festival just increased popular opinion and cultural acceptance between us and Tamils. Well, I know Nagadeepa, it's got low control there, so I want to tour the grounds there to increase controls there. I don't have a caravan master, but oh, it's the physician. Listen, I fired you once, but you'll get your job. So, that's one. Now two. Get the Silk Road merchants. This would slow our speed, but 11% chance I may gain a small amount of gold from a trade deal, depending on diplomacy stewardship. So we can get even more gold during the taxation tour. Now, what else we could do to try to reduce the danger, especially in low control areas? Because there's one of high danger. Or just take the safest option and hire mercenary guards. I will seek justice even to the pettiest criminals of the realm. This will lead to increasing control, and just characters may lose stress. And I am both. Prestige gain. You can reduce the cost. And plus, increase the starting success, you can do that. But quite honestly, no luxuries with the starting success, because the success will gain over time of each of these vassals I visit. So I'm doing it with the much lowest cost as I can while keeping myself safe. So, let's begin. Compatibility. A renowned Silk Road merchant who is Andamanese. And there's locals. The Tamba mercenary was Vaishnavista. Tambapanni. The time has come. The time has come for my grand tour of Tambapanni. My court is packed, ready and raring to go. First stop will be Vijayabahu over in Malaya. I look forward to helping the people contribute to the nation's wealth by any means available. The Vijayabahu Agarajia subjects should certainly not have any surplus hidden from the crown after this tour is concluded. Can't wait. Once this grand tour is over, that'll be the end of the episode. We arrive at the small village in Matele. We see quite a commotion in the town square. An unfortunate creature is surrounded by furious villagers. A bleak, hopeless look in her eyes and fades and brightens as she notices my procession's approach. My Agarada, these villagers say that my actions have made a sinner of me, but it is all lies. Won't you give me the Agarada's justice? True. The evidence seems circumstantial, but a lowly peasant should never speak to the Agarada unprompted. Ambitious, callous, stubborn. No need for control over there. It's fine. But I'm a just man. That'll be nice. Plus you got good stewardship. So serving me will be her punishment. So she's welcome to travel. Our road takes us to through the treacherous parts of Matale. While I scan for any dangers ahead, a rustling bush grabs my attention. Could it be a wild animal? As I brace myself for impact, Sri Mahadevi jumps out of the bush instead, holding a plant. You scare me, Sri Mahadevi. Anyways, let me see what you have here. Some kind of fruit? I exclaimed. Yes, it looks and smells so delicious. I wonder what it tastes like. Maybe I'll just take a little bite, she says. Let Sri Mahadevi eat it. Invigorates the body and mind. What are the odds? I receive a welcome worthy of an Agarada at the gates of Ravi Devas Durga in Malaya. My coffer wagon and tax collectors making the goal of my visit clear. My vassal dutifully receives me of all requisite deference. Ravadeva explains that the planned evening banquet, the promising entertainments and victuals on offer will meet the standards of my own court's dinners. He assures me this is the only finest food he has to offer. Let's begin. These are my guests. Plus one that joined us. Scores 10. They became friends. My guest, Shantala Devi, has approached me and claiming to have been given Ravideva's permission to come join his court at place of my own. Light in his past would certainly prove my standing with the Ravadu, but this is an insult to stealing members of my court. It's truly something I can overlook. She is a Kannada and she's a Malabari. I could make myself more avaricious, but no, let that pass. Go where your heart pleases. Plus, I gain stress by being ambitious like that. Hold it. Agabodi. Different man. Wants to write about intrigue. How much? 50. Alright. Go ahead. Skills merely decent, so it's about learning. Development approved. Courtier tax levied. By the way, start learning Tamil. You'll need it. As I've been enjoying my time here, I cannot help but notice I've feasted in extravagance every day while I've been here. Perhaps Radha Ravideva is significantly more wealthy than I initially imagined. If my ponder proves true, it would mean that Ratla owes me far more gold than he has been paying thus far, and I could demand an extraction. He thinks highly of me, but let me see. You know, he sits on that area where there's a mine there. So I'll say, he must pay more in the future. He gets a weak hook on me for being indebted. Even already gave him that one hook one time. If I remember correctly. Yes. You know what? Back payments must be made. He refuses. Oh, how dare you. That's a crime. I've concluded my royal visitation of Maya. Now my procession prepares to depart. He and his court all lined up neatly, seeming part with everyone present. Time to collect tribute, bestowing them my presents. It's time for a tribute. You didn't pay me the first time, and I could imprison you for that. But I'll, you know what? Let me see. Isn't there a way to grant you a pardon? Yes, there is. It's tax avoidance. Look, I'm willing to forgive you, if you pay me tribute. I was a bit harsh, alright? So now it's time for proper tribute. If you refuse again, I'm going to imprison you when the time's right. Yeah, he gave me. Okay. Sorry for this little misunderstanding. What I said the first time, you misspoke. And now it's time for proper tribute as I go. And now he pays me. So therefore, pardon. There will be a day. I find beneficiary Agabodi surrounded by scrolls and manuscripts, head in his hands. My lord, there are so many areas of intrigue worthy of attention. Scheming, seduction, manipulation. I don't even know where to start. What topic does your muse yearn for? To meet with my friend. It's been too long since I sat down for dinner with such a good friend. The burdens that are almost forgotten in this spirit too rarely. What explains the plan eating thing? Yeah, I've read it before. Let's begin. Spear tax, 26 gold. Life as an Agarada brings all manner of magnificence and fanciful food to my plate. But lately I've grown tired of these same flavors and textures. I desire the truly outrageous, the truly exotic. One side of me I see kettled figs, to the other boiled vegetables. What if I were to take these two distinct flavors to taste them at once? A worthwhile experiment. The taste is magnificent. Yes. I can hear my beneficiary muttering to himself across the hall. I need something epic to make my craze stand out beyond the Spire Mass. But what? Just what? When his spirit eyes me, mine, he breaks into huge smiles. Oh, what an amazing idea. Just Barry, what do you think of adding your family's motto to your commission? Goodness to the soul. Sure, that sounds lovely. Courtier tax. More courtier tax. Gaining gold little by little. Nothing much has happened other than I was experimenting food. Just a good quiet dinner with a friend. Time for a tribute. I know you'll be willing to accept that because you're my friend. You gave in. Good. Rich local taxed. 50 gold. By traveling together with Kudaka Devi and her merchant caravans, I come across business opportunities I would not have otherwise. Well then, we're able to secure a favorable trade deal with merchants we met there. I could accept the deal as it is, or risk the haggle to get even more out of the other merchants, but they might refuse and the deal might fall through. Don't want to gamble on that. It's 25 gold, that's a pretty good amount. Your priest has secured 0 out of whatever successful trade deals along the Silk Road. So that's the first. That wasn't like that in this previous series. I visited the university. What university? There's 2 universities? Strange. Almost adjacent to each other. Cultural Festival. The streets of Vani are richly decorated for my arrival. And my vassal, Naivar, Karuna Dadakan dutifully waits me. I can't say I'm not intrigued by the customs of this land. What Karuna Dadakan often. And in exchange I shall lighten their bags from the weight of their gold. Let's start. So this will add a bit more cultural acceptance between us. We're all Sri Lankans, mind you. So, 25 gold. Another one. Stick to the initial agreement. Don't get greedy. Unrelated. As we pass through the Kotam of Periamadu, a jubilant local approaches my entourage. Her smile stretches from ear to ear. I discern she's offering a warm welcome, but the finer aspects of her speech are sounding lost to me. Be it as it may, I wave my attentive companions and return a joyful greeting. I could have imagined a more excellent chance to practice my Tamil. Join us on our journey to Nagadipa. Every little bit helps. This season. Streets hanging with tapestries. Ah, the smell of freshly cooked hair. The way Vani shines during this time of the year. A bonfire has been lit in the center of town to celebrate the victory of the brightest of stars, ascending into the heaven above. Amid the reveling and drinking of Soma, one of the locals started a song that all join into. Summer has arrived. Loudly sing, pigeon. Seed is growing, and the meadow is blooming. Sing, seagull. Such a lovely celebration. Roast swan tax. Oh, miraculous deal. As I promenade around the festival, I notice a hooded figure selling flasks whose liquids cannot be told. Come and buy my medicines, my lord, for they work miracles and balance the humors of even the weakest man. As I look at the flasks, I observe that one shines vermilion, as if it was made of finest cinnabar. The other is bright green, as is somewhat so copper plates in fresh wine. Akasa. Don't worry, I'm strong. I've gone through worse. The green medicine looks the healthiest. Probably not. It is! Miraculous tonic. It's a permanent effect. Nice. Your first child together. We don't know if she is strong, but that's good. Kayanavati. Sounds a good name. Ooh. Bit of a brawl. Lovers. I've concluded my royal visitation, Ivani. Time for a tribute. But since you are an arrogant man, you'll probably refuse. But give it a chance. Oh, you have defied the authority of the crown and refused to submit to my demands. You arrogant man. This should not be forgotten. Now, this is a different one. My arrival at Vedera-san's castle in Nagadipa is marked with fanfare befitting the Agarada realm, and the presence of my coffer wagon and the tax collectors quickly noted. Sharing the rooms of this vile sycophant is disgusting necessity. Hopefully this will be over quickly. He outlines the plan. Tor ensures me that Nagadipa is so fair and fine line that immediately gazing on her towns and fields will be entertainment enough. Only time will tell. Let's get to it. Plus, now that I'm here, this will help you with your little control issue, which it seems you just can't get it under control, but I will be glad to do my part to get it. You will pay for your arrogance one day. My writer, Agabodi, updates me on his progress. Droning on about the limits of core desk as my mind reels with bold ideas from my book. Writing might not be my personal forte, but that doesn't mean I can't have a say how my money is spent. My background gives me some unique insights. 81% chance that my ideas will work well. 3% that the ideas will poor, or 50 nothing. They work well. Lots of loving going on. Love and hate going on. I find myself curious to see how the lowlives of Nagadeepa live, so I paid a visit to an establishment where locals seem to be growing quite rowdy. One man stands atop a table, commanding the attention of everyone with earshot. Why do we even need a Nadavafar anyway? And his son feeds us this shit palm wine, yet he expects our undying loyalty. The entire building erupts in thumping and applause. Clear my Nadavafar is not popular in his own home. It's not a just thing to do. Do not speak ill to Nadava. How about you? 71% that we would have that peasant leader humiliated and further increase the control level there. And we'll have a higher opinion of me for friendship. I win the fight. Mace tax. My lord, my visionary Agabodi smiles and gestures me toward his stinking hands. My book, my masterpiece is finished. Behold, an opulent tome that shows a modest understanding of intrigue has touched upon subjects such as a small, sinister book with a black leather cover, containing detailed drawings of plants and step-by-step, opulently illustrated instructions for preparing a wide selection of poisons. The cover is ivory, that's been painted to display a repeating image of geometric shapes. Hoo! And a motto of the Vijayabahu family, goodness to the sword, is written in a highly decorated style on its first page. I'm impressed. 1 second. Put that here. If I care about intrigue, I would put it to good use. But we'll have to display it, because I don't have anything like that before. My wife brawled with another guy. Time for a tribute. Don't refuse it. He gave in. Good. Candle tax. Amazing inn. The inn we stayed in Pankulam last night was a surprisingly wonderful place. I don't know what the inn or its staff did right, but something about the inn allowed most of us to sleep through the night so peacefully. This morning there are smiles on the faces of many of my entourage prepared to leave. What a wonderful place this was. Passing through the capital. I'm not home yet officially, but truly a stroll through Vijayarajapur is a gift from Tata Gada Gabra. I don't know if that's correct. The tranquility of this place is suddenly and abruptly broken by the furious grunts of calling on. Hark! Get me out of this metal prison. My squad took offense at my manner, even going as far as call me heartless and has abandoned me. Whatever this strange man did could have not been enough to justify being stuck forever in his armor. I could, of course, have someone help him, but it's truly worth it. Consider the armor gone for a price. Needed the money. Alright, last place to visit. And it's gonna be dinner. Supper. Hopefully we can get up to the max. Roast swan tax. Not much events. Courtier tax levied. Courtier tax levied. Made it to the max. Yes. Yeah, not much going on. Time for a tribute. Thank you very much. We are going home, and we will end the episode on that note. But first, several peasants gathered around me asking for stories from my life. I think back on what I could tell them. Two stories jump to mind. One, when I went on a pilgrimage to Sri Lanka as a loving memory. On the other hand, when I commanded and won the Battle of Paduka against Regalpo Lechen Galpo of Mario, is a more awesome tale, likely to inspire loyalty and fervor. Everyone loves a war story. That's what I say. This only helps that area. As we trek through Sirunawa, our caravan stopped at a clearing bordered by tall grass. I proceed toward the commotion only to find Adijapatiara and Siddhartha having a rainbow. Come on, Sid. I'm Siddhartha. I'm trying to pass the time. Should we get to know each other a bit better? You better acknowledge my existence to our journey. And then Adijapatiara. Petaria, exclaims Slady as some look on her face. He shakes content, seeming ready to turn heel and bolt back to Vijayabahu. We're already on our way home! 3 days! Come on! Come now, you two surely can make amends. 85% chance I'll become an entourage mediator. They made amends. It's only 3 days. Learn to be patient. It was a good trip, right? Except for, him, who refused to pay me. I was willing to forgive the first, but the second... oh, actually, it's this man, not him. You're fine. You, however, you're the problem. Now let's finish the grand tour. And there we go. Register. So now, we will end the episode on that note, now that we got some money back that we made. As control is being restored. And in the next episode, we shall see full control of Tambapanni. And we'll do more other things that we can to, to keep this going. And I guess the Buddhist monastery is not yet finished construction, so we shall also see that occur in the next episode. All that and more. Until the next one, so long for now.